Today's episode of Shut Up Evan is sponsored by Mister. Did you know you can get your prep for free? Mister provides 100% free prep and doxypep prescribed online and delivered directly to your door. Whether you have insurance or not, Mister's got you fully covered in 3 easy steps. 1, sign up at mister.com. 2, consult with your doctor online. 3, complete your at-home test kit. And then your prep and doxypep come right to your door. No doctor's office, no needles, no paperwork. Easy, judgment-free, and totally online. Head to mister.com to get started today. So I thought I would make a video as a preamble to this interview to talk a little bit about the construction of an interview like this, how it comes together, and how I craft my questions, and whether this is a standard interview or if I have a different approach considering the topicality of the subject matter. I knew going into this interview that I didn't want to focus too much on heated rivalry. It felt like it has been covered and mined ad nauseum, and I didn't feel like there were questions that were really stuck in my head. And I often use that as sort of a North Star for me when it comes to crafting interview questions. I was also really struck during my research about his early life section on Wikipedia being 1 paragraph. That felt like ripe territory to explore. I also got the sense that he was a big cinephile. I felt like he was always referencing filmmakers and actors in past interviews, and I was so struck hearing names like Julia Ducournau and Michael Stuhlbarg, you know? I also wanted to make sure we had a conversation about privacy because it's something I haven't really landed on with regard to my own feelings, the gray area around the ethics of it. I think it's something that is fresh on my mind and the minds of so many others, and I figured being on the inside of it, it might be a worthwhile conversation to have with him. Mostly, I wanted Hudson to feel dignified in having earned this moment. I wanted him to feel relaxed, and I didn't want it to feel like an inquisition. I really appreciated that he took his shoes off, as you'll see in the interview, and cozied up on the couch because that gave me a sense early on in the interview that he was with me, that he was settled in, that even though he was going to leave here to go to a fitting and then go to one of those fancy parties at Chateau Marmont and had to prep for the Golden Globes, which are happening the next day, all that stuff that was happening, I felt that in this moment, his thoughts were here and now. And I envy that, and I long for that, both in an interview setting, but also in life. I also want to note that I interview celebrities often, as you all know, and, of varying magnitudes. And there can often be, not always, but often, a lot of padding and guardrails and safety nets put into place, and maybe for good reason, because of past instances with them or other clients that their team represent. But I thought it was notable that Hudson showed up with just 1 rep, no groomer, no stylist, no team. I think it says a lot about his approach to making sure that all of this feels human and not becoming affixed to the machine of Hollywood. So that's a little bit behind the scenes around this interview. The reason why I'm putting this forward here now is I got a lot of questions about how an interview like this gets constructed. And so I just wanted to give a little insight into my thought pattern in terms of how I approach interview in general and the prep work that I did leading up to the interview you are about to watch. And I hope you enjoy.
Shut up, Evan. Shut up, Evan. Fuck off, Evan. Shut up, Evan.
And can I get one last one as Shane Hollander?
Shut up, Evan.
That was so quick, but he came into you.
I blacked out. Shut up. Shut up, Evan.
Oh, okay. Have you done a podcast before?
No.
This is your first podcast.
Yeah. How long do we have?
We have 75 minutes.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I can relax.
My goal is to kind of find new ground here.
I'm a little nervous now.
Now, famously, from the show, LA is hot this time of year. This is your first time in LA.
Hot women. First time in LA?
Yeah.
No, I've been here.
You've been here?
Yeah, it's got to be in the 10s.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been coming here since I was a kid, but just not in the industry.
And you're in the industry now.
I'm in Hollywood, baby.
Not only are you in Hollywood, this is the funny thing about this weekend. And maybe this is a little inside baseball for people, but I think it can help them understand.
I'm taking my shoes off. Is that okay?
Take them off.
Okay.
This is award show weekend, and obviously award season is long, but this particular weekend is Golden Globes weekend.
Yes.
So everyone right now on the internet is very overwhelmed by the HUDCON schedule
Yeah.
because we're getting like, you just came from a cut brunch.
Yes.
You're going to leave here today. You're going to go to a fitting for Globes. Then tonight I'm going to see you again at the WMAG Best Performances Party.
Oh my God.
Then the next day you'll have the Golden Globe.
Mm-hmm.
We have you here in LA finally, although you've been here 9 other times.
Mm-hmm.
But you're here right now, part of the industry.
Yeah.
And the industry is having a particular industry-centric weekend.
Right.
So it's the perfect storm.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it is.
Hudson Williams,
Yes.
I'm very excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. Truly, like, this is a perfect setting for me. This is really good.
You've been out here this week, but I was looking at, like, for instance, with Fallon, it's like you're on stage. And I feel like the nice thing about a podcast is it's a little bit more intimate.
Yeah, the dogs are out partially. I've unbuttoned and I don't care. I'm really getting cozy in here.
By the end of the interview,
Yeah.
knows?
Who knows what will happen? Yeah.
On this exhaustive press tour that you've been on,
Mm-hmm.
are you feeling at all overstimulated? People have a reaction to you. Obviously, we know it's a lovely thing,
Yeah.
but you're human. And so where does the energy live for you?
It's ebbs and flows. There are times when someone I both recognize and admire, and I'm well rested enough or well caffeinated in the moment that energy gets expended, and then it will be bounced back. But there are times when I'm just too sleepy and I can't quite give it all back, so I just kind of take. And sometimes I'm half there, I feel half awake. Sometimes I don't recognize the person. Occasionally it's rewarding. Sometimes it feels like you have to be on. But most importantly, I just feel kind of grateful that I get any sort of attention for doing work that I really loved doing.
I think there's a lot of hotel rooms right now. When you
Mhm.
come home at the end of the night and you get to close the door and it's just you, do you take a deep breath in that moment and just kind of let it out at all?
I feel like I haven't taken a breath. When I go back to Canada, I take a breath. But as soon as I've been in New York, I'm in LA quite a bit. I don't feel like I can fully relax in hotel rooms, especially now that there are meetings coming up. There are roles, in the inbox. So it's like that should be the priority. I should be reading these things, but I have so little time. So plane ride, no matter what, it's like I'm just fighting sleep to try to read everything that I've been being sent. So there's no breath.
Can you sleep on a plane?
Yeah.
Because Connor said he can't sleep on a plane, and I'm like, you're gonna have to learn to sleep on a plane.
Yeah, he said he doesn't like moving things. I love
sleeping on a plane.
I know. Something about the ascent, like the departure, just sends me, and I find it actually very hard to stay awake on the liftoff.
Yeah, sometimes for me the struggle is to stay awake for the meal.
Exactly.
Because I'm finally in my seat. Maybe I took a
I
pill.
know.
I'm ready to, conk
Yeah.
out, and I'm just like, no, stay awake, because, and no disrespect to air travel, but when they make the big announcement at the beginning and everything, it's like, at some point it's like, we kind of know the, like, seatbelt on.
Yeah. Also, like, why can't I lean back? I know the emergency position is that, so maybe it counteracts.
Yeah.
But like, if I die, I die. I'd rather die comfortably and reclined.
Yeah.
So that I have a problem with. We need to fix this, I think.
Talk to me about, because you mentioned your inbox filling up.
Mhm.
And so my understanding from actors that I've spoken to is there's this thing called positioning, which is that you have all these opportunities and you might want to take this gleaming opportunity that arrives your way. But taking that opportunity might preclude you from doing another opportunity. You might hear from one of your dream directors and they reach out and they're like, here's this film, Hudson, we want you to do it. 9-month shoot in
Yes.
Dubai. And you're like, oh my God, opportunity of a lifetime.
Mhm.
Yes. But then right before you sign, another one comes in and they're like, 2-week shoot,
Mhm.
more money, less prestigious director. When I talk about positioning, it's sort of all about this chess match
Yeah.
that you have before you now, and sort of saying it's not about the best or greatest opportunity necessarily. It's actually just the practicality. And so how has that been for you? Because that's something that very few people in this industry, especially in this day and age, get to a place where that's the predicament.
Right. So yeah, it's hard to complain about because for a long time I've been an actor, a cliche of an actor, struggling server, paycheck to paycheck, just desperate for any role, let alone a good one. And I was just talking with one of my agents yesterday, and she said, Connor and I have had to learn what a lot of actors get in 5 years in like 30 days. So it's learn quick, trying to build a sort of sense of direction and yeah, these choices that you're speaking of, because the inbox fills up quick, but then it's March shoot. Okay. Oh, this one sounds like this one. I have a meeting with this person for this book or this movie, whatever, in 2 months. But this one is a straight offer, but it kind of sounds like this movie. Do I wait for
Yes.
this more prestigious movie? But this one also sounds good. Um, Finding out, do I read 10 pages? Do I just read the log line? What do we say no to before really giving it the full time of day? Because just like if I simply do not have the time, if I just sat and read everything to finish all these scripts and in time to give an answer to these people. Um, so that is really tricky because I don't want a gem to like escape me.
Totally.
So I'm figuring that out quickly. I'm not sure I'm doing it well, but it's a very fortunate position. So I'm trying to slap myself whenever I go to complain. Um, but that doesn't change the fact it's really difficult.
Yeah, and I also think it's okay to complain.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
maybe not like on a podcast, but like
Right.
just
Yeah.
fundamentally,
I
like
complain to the people who
yeah,
won't,
yeah,
kill
yeah.
me.
But
Yeah.
like I'm typically pro complaining. I'm a big complainer. I will definitely
Yeah.
say, in a lot of the interviews you've done,
Mhm.
you've been asked to sort of speak to the phenomena that you
Right.
find yourself within. Why I do think it's worth sort of meditating on with you for a second is just the velocity is really the thing that I think is unique in this circumstance. And
Yeah.
I saw no better example of that than you coming out of Fallon several weeks ago. Beatlemania, as Fallon later described it. What is it like to walk outside and have that energy thrust toward you and the screams are hitting you? Does that feel different?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like anything you could prepare for. Because when you see those things, when I was just a Samaritan, I'm still just a person,
Were you going to say a Samaritan?
a Samaritan, yes,
Yeah.
an everyday Samaritan.
Yeah.
It's a different existence now, not based on worth or whatever quality of human, but it's a different life. And when you see these people, like when you see the Beatles, when you see BTS, there's an element of that's not another human, that's a celebrity, which exists in this weird definition that is very abstract, that you can hear them talk about, but you don't necessarily. I couldn't empathize. I thought I could empathize with it, but I couldn't fully feel what they were going through until now. And now it's just brought this wave of sympathy, because it's not easy having paparazzi people constantly go, sign this, do this, do this. Because although it feels good that people admire your work, it's we can go to pockets of places I never thought we would be found, and we're still pulled aside for a photo, something to be signed. Lunch gets interrupted. You have to look nice because you can't just roll out in sweatpants, which I used to always do, and just look awful. You don't want to be caught. There's all these things that are just sort of exhausting. So a lot of me just wearing the glasses too. I'm like, I just don't want to have like an eye twitch, and I don't want them to see my 3 hours of sleep. So I was always like, oh, that's such a stuck up move. Like, what a prima donna with their glasses on. And now I'm like, I just want to be able to just have a sort of semblance of privacy, or like I want to be able to control my lack of sleep that shows up in my
Yeah.
eyes, or fear, or whatever it is. But like a lot of the smiling there, I think people were saying like, oh, he looks like he's just taking it all in. He loves it. He's on top of the world. I was just kind of like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy. Get me to the car. These people seem very nice, but I can't possibly sign everyone's thing, talk to
Yes.
everyone. And, I can't steal away because then also there's an element of selfishness. If I were to stay and sign everything, the security, they have other jobs to do. They have to take other people into the building. They have to get off the clock. My publicist needs to get somewhere. My agents need to get somewhere. It can become a selfish act, not a generous one, to just stand there and meet everyone. There are other people around me. So, yeah, it's a weird balance, and there's so much minutia that I never could possibly imagine exists in this world of celebrity.
Well, it's interesting you talk about the privacy thing because I've observed with you and Connor this way in which it's well-intended people, right?
Absolutely.
For instance, there's a photo of you that was taken from behind at the airport just a few weeks ago when you were heading from New York here, right?
My ass.
Your ass. And it's getting posted because people are like, he's leaving New York, he's heading to LA, Connor's in LA, HUDCon reunion, it's happening, get ready. At the same token, someone's taking a photo of you while you're in public without your consent. And so I do think it's this strange gray area. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know where I come down on it because I share a lot of these photos or I engage with these photos or I appreciate seeing you and Hudson at Sunset Tower last night stepping out and being like, oh my God, my boys are back together.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, then I see a viral video go around of, that one of you guys accidentally took a pen. Do you know about this?
Oh, maybe.
This is hilarious. One of you took a pen, and that becomes a video.
Oh,
I know.
I didn't even realize this.
Took a pen?
My mom sends me stuff because for the last little while, I've had my social media deleted. I get it to like if someone's like repost this, whatever, I'll get it. Or if they're like, oh, look at this, I'm like, oh, okay. But it's usually like my mom or people on my team or friends that'll send me things.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, that photo you mentioned, I was like, holy hell, I didn't even know that person.
I don't think it's incumbent on you and Connor and these people to hold the line there. And so with that said, it's like, then who is it incumbent upon? And
Right.
that's when I sometimes look at like journalists or people like myself to kind of say, well, I think that the role that maybe we serve is to sort of establish that link between the celebrity and the fandom to kind of have platforms like this where you're sitting down to talk. I'm not so sure about those ones of when you're walking down the street getting you from behind, but I recognize the inclination.
Yes, me too, because those are the photos that I have engaged with. Unsolicited. All paparazzi is unsolicited. There's a whole market for it, and I've engaged with it before. I still engage with it. It piques my interest. It plays in something sort of base in me that gets me excited and titillated. But also, it's when it comes down to there was no consent there. That person didn't necessarily want that photo taken. It is maybe not nefarious, but it's not sweet, and it's not fully welcomed. It doesn't make us feel safe or really like we can disarm. We feel very always on defense. Even when I go out now, I remember I've never really struggled with social anxiety since 9th grade. I get other anxieties, but not social. But for the first time in a while, I was just out to get some lighter fluid at my SkyTrain station in Vancouver, and I remember like looking down, planning my exit. I was trying to like avoid the masses of people because I'm in gym shorts, like a hoodie, a hat, like look gross. I think I'm in like dusty ass sneakers, and I remember for the first time, I had like just a huge amount of social anxiety of just let me get to the car because I'm not in a social mood. I don't want to be rude. And if someone stopped me, I would talk to them for 6 minutes or however long they chatted my ear off. But that's not exactly what I want to do right now. I want to get home.
Yeah.
So it's super tricky. I would say the responsibility, if, I always appreciate it when it goes, hey, this is not cool. We shouldn't be engaging with this. Sometimes the photo's kind of harmless, like the one from me walking. Like, I don't really care too much. But there were other videos of my co-stars, other actors that I've seen they're a gray area. That person should know better than to post that. But it kind of comes with the territory. I would say there's probably an element of responsibility on applications and media sites to sort of censor these things.
Yeah, it's like the dissemination of them by
Yeah,
those
there's
sites.
clearly no consent there. And it doesn't seem like a hard territory to sort of screen.
Yeah.
You know, if someone's turned walking with someone and they don't even know a camera's on them, maybe just delete that photo on just maybe don't allow that photo on your app or delete it once it comes on because people are going to be people, including myself. But yeah, it's dicey territory. It's gray. It's not black and white.
Today's episode of Shut Up Evan is sponsored by Mr. Did you know you can get your prep for free? Mr. provides free prep and DoxyPep prescribed online and delivered right to your door. No doctor's office, no needles, no drama. What are you waiting for? Sign up at Mr.com today. You talked about kind of deleting social media, which is very healthy. You follow 85 people on Instagram right now.
Mhm.
I believe I have the number correct. I have a couple call-ins for today. One of those is one of those 85 people, and I'm going to bring in one of your 85.
Hello, Hudson. My name is Hunter, and I have a question for you. And it is because Shane's mascot in your show is centaurs, I believe. What would yours be in real life if you could pick your own mascot for you, Hudson Williams?
I am a huge fan. Hunter's great in everything she does. And yeah, I've been a fan since Euphoria was the first thing I seen her in. Really excited for her career. Also the episode she wrote is really brilliant. Okay, but to answer her question, that is so fucking wild. That's so wild. I would say maybe like a raccoon. They look so cute. They kind of have this cool dark energy, but sometimes they're rabid. You never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes they're out in the daytime, and you're like, what are they doing? And then they growl at you, and sometimes you just see someone cuddling them in the daylight. They're always hungry. They can look really menacing. So maybe like a raccoon. They'll get bags under their eyes. I feel like I have dark
You don't?
eyes. No.
Oh, you'd make dark eyes. I was
dark
thinking
eye.
bags
Yeah.
under your eyes.
Yeah. I feel like I have dark eye area. And a lot of times I get bags. So yeah, maybe a raccoon.
On the subject of bags under the eyes, what's been it like for you to suddenly have grooming?
Yeah.
Did you have like styling and grooming for the Heated Rivalry premiere in Canada?
No, that's just me. I'm just fly.
You looked great.
Okay, thank you.
And that came from your wardrobe.
Yeah, everything came from even now, I work with a stylist, Anastasia Walker, and she is my homie, Ika. She's she's my G is what I call her. And so they're familial and they are comforting. They don't feel like the industry. They don't feel like this more Hollywood. Like I don't feel like I'm in like the substance, like getting like freaking like scrubbed down and polished, and they just feel like they're my friends, which is really great. But style wise, I always loved fashion. I have a lot of my fans and my or a lot of my role models in sort of the fashion style world. So getting to like create looks that kind of span my diverse taste, it's really satisfying.
Can I hear more about these role models?
Yeah.
I'm just so curious because I feel like fashion is
Yeah.
already becoming a part of your life, but I think it's about to become an even bigger part.
Right. A lot of my fashion role models are like women, just because a lot of times they're like what they wear and sort of their aura around them is like Rihanna, I think, has like Marilyn Monroe. There's a sensuality to how they dress, and their clothes complement that. Then I also like people who can be, kind of braggadocious and, slightly loud. Like ASAP is just always a touchstone, always someone we talk about when we make a Pinterest board or whatever. John F. Kennedy Jr., Princess Diana, there's a lot of like kind of cool mixes of like, tweed and then a t-shirt on a bike with a backwards hat and fun socks. Like that's cool. Gosling, I think, is a good touchstone for just a classic suit. Like I think he wears a fitted suit really well. Tom Ford is just not only a fashion role model, I just love him. He's a good director, a beautiful speaker. He looks cool. I love hearing him talk. I love him. Who else? Oh, Audrey Hepburn is sort of an all-time style icon. Clean looks, does jewelry. Well, Breakfast at Tiffany's does jewelry better than anyone.
Wow. Fantastic answer. Two follow-ups on that. One, Fenty Beauty just followed you on Instagram recently.
I wear their underwear all the time. It's like the only underwear besides like Calvin Klein and Saks that I wear. But Fenty they make my favorite underwear.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a big Skims guy.
I haven't tried Skims yet.
I really do love Skims.
Okay.
But you also mentioned Princess Diana, and of the many comparisons that, you have a lot of nicknames on Twitter and on social media, and a lot of people, people's princess. But when I was, my cursory Google, a lot of people are calling you sort of the modern day Princess Diana.
Oh, I've only seen this once. Someone sent this to me, and that was weird because I was like, I have loved her my whole life. And just her whole aura, everything about her history, who she was, her sort of irreverence is really sick. So yeah, I don't even know what that means or what they're seeing, but something I think cosmic of just me always looking up to her hopefully exists. And that's one of the best compliments I've ever heard because I love her.
I imagine a lot of brands are eager, maybe foaming at the mouth to work with you.
Yeah. I love a foaming mouth.
Love a foaming mouth. Because you mentioned a lot of your style icons, and these are all individuals, but I'm wondering on the brand side, is there a brand that appeals to you?
There's a designer that I was talking about with Zach Posen, not to name drop, but it's a Japanese designer who I've since looked into even more.
Yoji Yamamoto.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah.
This makes sense for you.
And Rick Owens, who's sort of a predecessor and sort of like a spiritual connector. I don't really want to work with the brands that I'm not going to name those brands, but there are a lot of brands that are like the go-to. And I'm good just to dress myself before I dress with them.
Can I shout out my favorite Hudson fashion moment so far?
Okay.
The leather trench that you wore outside of Fallon, maybe like that was like a wine red.
Yeah. In different photos, it looked really different. In person, it was kind of like a Michael Jackson Thriller red.
Yes.
But like a little more burgundy.
Yes. Do you know what it was giving me? Do you know this reference, Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yes.
Yeah, that was definitely something for me. The other thing I've seen come up a lot is the Met Gala. Are you interested in attending the Met Gala?
Yes. No, I think a lot of people have divisive reactions to it because it can be the celebratory thing. I've always appreciated it. But I think some people who can't afford to idolize it, appreciate it, it is vanity personified, aesthetics in the forefront. And I think there's room for that. I think there's a fun way of just looking at it with, a sprinkle of truffle salt on your life. And if you can afford to incorporate it, it is not fundamental, but it's fucking fun. And it can just be sort of like the best form of ostentatious. And I love it.
And for people that don't know, the Met Gala is a fundraiser for the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
There we go.
So totally agree with you. Yes, it obviously is ostentatious displays of wealth, certainly, but that money being generated is ultimately going toward funding the arts. And so I think that is an important thing for people to understand about the Met Gala. I'm not saying that people shouldn't feel how they feel about
Right.
it. It's just sort of additive to the conversation.
So if I have something that costs $60,000 from head to toe on top of me, I am the best form of a philanthropist, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm like Mother Teresa
You're a
personified.
philanthropist.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, and people called me vain, but I didn't
No.
understand. Yeah,
I will say too, did you see the video of Donatella Versace watching Heated Rivalry?
I know she has seen it and followed us.
You
and
haven't seen this video?
I haven't seen the video.
I have to show it to you.
I'm not on anything right now.
I'm gonna start sending you stuff, okay? I don't want to bombard your inbox, but there's some content I think is important for you to see.
Okay, Donatella, what are you watching?
Is that even a question? Take me to the cottage already.
Is that what you want? To be together?
Take her to the cottage immediately.
What? We've already been, but we can go back, and she's invited.
Could you imagine if you and Connor were filming at the cottage and there
Mm.
was just a knock on the glass, like between, maybe not even between takes, in the middle of a take, there's just a knock on the
Yeah.
glass, and it's Donatella.
Donatello.
She's like, I'm here.
I blame Jacob Tierney for not making a world in which that could have happened.
Yeah, well, season 2.
I mean, Dylan Walsh killed it in his scene, but it's more interesting, and you can't deny that if it was Donatella instead.
Oh my God, we needed an edit of instead of Shane's dad coming, it's Donatello pulling up to the cottage.
That's beautiful.
However, I feel like if Donatello walked in and saw you guys making out,
She'd join.
she'd join.
She'd
Exactly.
join.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to bring in another caller to the conversation, one you're admittedly quite familiar with. I had you call in
Mhm.
when I had Connor on the podcast. I figure only appropriate that we close the loop.
Hi, Huddy. I am going to ask you a question the way that you asked me one. I'm currently wearing your hat, and that inspired me to ask you something related to clothing. Is there something that you used to wear or a style that you used to try that you look back on and you're like, I cannot believe I tried that. I cannot believe I wore that. Any growth in terms of your style? I love you. Hi, Evan. I love you too.
We're
Wow.
loved. It's good to be loved. Yeah.
There were a lot of things I tried at the wrong time that just didn't feel right. I can't remember anything that I just found really embarrassing. You know, I've seen people react to their fashion over the years, and they've been very embarrassed, but that's sort of the point of fashion, is just trying things. And you know, life is inherently embarrassing, and progress is inherently embarrassing to try and change. And it's kind of, yeah, it is. I like the idea of fashion as a way to express how you're feeling, the mood you're in. But I would say the only thing that I found embarrassing is when I was trying things to fit in, or trying things that didn't feel authentic to me. And sometimes I'm okay to go out my way to be like, oh, I hope to become this a little bit more in an aspirational way. But when it's in a more sort of fitting in type of way, I find that just regrettably embarrassing.
On that note, that makes me think, you know, your Wikipedia right now, your early life section is one paragraph. I expect that to grow in the coming.
I haven't even looked at
If
this.
you were on the edit of the Wikipedia early life section, are there some sentences or bits that you think would be important to include?
I'll start with something mundane. I was born in Kelowna, lived there very shortly before moving to Kamloops, British Columbia, a pocket desert, 2.5 hours away from Vancouver, British Columbia. And there was a defining point before grade 1 where I was into kindergarten. That was a French immersion. My auntie and my mom, they were like, let's put our kids in French immersion. So they're like multilingual. And I went to a French immersion where they gave demerits. We had a little name card like hanging on this wall. And if we said something in English and someone corrected us and said the French version, the person who said it in English would get a demerit, and the person who corrected would get a star. I was all for the stars, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
demerits, I was like, sorry, I'm not fluent yet. I'm 5 years old.
I feel like that encourages people to look out for others' flaws as well.
Yeah.
In the hopes of getting stars.
It's a douchey, fucking assholey little system. I'm not sure if that defines anything, but it pissed me off, and it led to me going, get me another school. And at that point, I had my little science book filled with like science experiments you could do at home. And also, I was such a little performer. I liked dancing with a vacuum for my parents. I liked acting, and I liked quoting movies. I quoted Home Alone. There's like a video of me in a bathtub going, "Keep the change, you filthy animal," from that like fake gangster movie inside Home Alone. And my mom asked me before grade 1, first grade, that's what Americans say, do you want to go to a science school or an arts performing school? And I chose the arts very quickly. And we studied dance, singing, performing Shakespeare, like dumbed down Shakespeare, from grades 1 to 7. So then by the time I kind of was like, let's go back to this in 11th grade, it didn't feel like a departure. It felt like going back to something that was so ingrained in me, and felt liquid. It didn't feel like I had to be too heady to understand it. It felt like something that I could very astutely navigate without too much effort. And the more effort I put into it, it was just even more rewarding. From grades 1 to 7, still sort of inform the actor and artist I am today.
How small of a town was it that you grew up in?
At the time I was living in it as a kid, it was like 75,000.
And then did you go to Vancouver often?
Yeah, my cousins, who were sort of my sisters, I would come like it felt like once a month. I was living there for a little quick section. So yeah.
And was the goal to become a filmmaker or an actor or an amalgamation of both?
Post-secondary, it was to become an actor, because once I started taking classes out in Vancouver, which is they call Hollywood North, I realized people talk about it like a profession, because it is. And they would say, this is how you get an agent, this is how you work and make a living. That assured me I could do this and quit all this other shit that was like, you should go to business managing or maybe take business or accounting. And I was like, oh God, okay. Like post-secondary sounds like I'm I hate my life. And then when I found acting, I was like, okay. I quickly told my parents and everyone around me that this is the hill I'm gonna die on. And then very soon as I went to film school post-secondary, which was like a month after graduating high school, directing and writing became just as on the radar. Before Heated Rivalry, it felt like I was kind of pushing things forward in like a sort of like a game of checkers, and I didn't know which lane would take off. I'm kind of just trying to see which catches fire, but I was sort of as confident and as weary or insecure about both writing, directing, and acting.
It's interesting because it's like, thinking about this relationship with you and Connor, he similarly is also a filmmaker as well. And I'm wondering if you were to sort of like map out the next 5 years for yourself. Obviously, I imagine you're going to continue seeking out projects that have you on camera, but are you also interested in continuing to develop scripts at all, find projects to direct as well?
I think it's inevitable within the next 5 years. I have my feature debut, which I probably will have wrote, and just the egomaniac in me is going to act in it. Not because it doesn't feel like it comes from a place of conceit. At least it feels like it comes from a place of I have a specific tone I like when I write. Selfishly, I enjoy what I write, and it feels like the only person who writes like me is me. Whether or not it's great or will be appreciated or anyone will think it's good, I have no control of or no prospects of even possibly understanding, but I like it. And so I want to exist in the worlds I create.
Thank you so much for tuning into part 1. We need to take a pause for now and reconvene for a part 2 coming very soon.